You've probably noticed the headlines lately: planes with missing bolts, near collisions at major airports, and growing turbulence concerns. It's enough to make anyone uneasy about flying. But now, there's a new layer to the story: what's happening behind the scenes at the FAA. Since the Trump era, key staffing cuts, leadership shakeups, and shifts in oversight policy are raising fresh alarms about how well our skies are really being managed. Flying is still statistically safe, yes, but the systems that keep it that way are showing signs of strain. If you fly regularly or travel with loved ones, this matters, because what's going on at 30,000 feet starts with decisions made on the ground, and some of those decisions aren't getting enough attention. The numbers tell one story. The headlines tell another. Let's start with the basics. Each year, over 2 million people fly daily in the US alone, and the vast majority of those flights are uneventful. The aviation industry takes pride in its safety record, and for good reason. Fatal crashes have become incredibly rare, thanks to rigorous training, redundant systems, and smart technology. For airlines and regulators, safety isn't just a moral priority, it's also financial. Safe flights mean cheaper insurance, fewer delays, fewer lawsuits, and higher consumer confidence. It's a win-win, but maintaining that level of safety requires constant vigilance. And that's where concerns are growing. Because recently, the very agencies and personnel tasked with keeping air travel safe, the FAA and its workforce, have faced budget cuts, staffing shortages, leadership turnover, and policy setbacks that are quietly eroding the support beams of aviation safety. 400 FAA workers dismissed. Why that matters more than you think. In early 2025, a wave of internal changes at the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, caught the attention of aviation professionals and unions alike. Nearly 400 probationary employees were dismissed in what the government framed as a streamlining effort. According to FAA statements, most were not in critical roles. But union leaders tell a different story. Out of those dismissed, over 130 were reportedly supporting operational safety, handling duties like compliance checks, training assistance, inspections, and coordination between ground crews and air traffic control. These aren't flashy, high-ranking positions, but they're the quiet glue holding the system together. Imagine a theater production without enough stagehands. The spotlight may still shine, and the actors may still perform, but without someone moving the props or checking the ropes, things start to fall apart. The Boeing 737 MAX 9. Blowout. A wake-up call. One of the most chilling reminders of what can happen when checks fail occurred earlier this year with the Alaska Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 9 incident. A panel on the side of the aircraft, a door plug meant to be permanently sealed, blew out mid-flight. Miraculously, no one was seriously injured, but investigations later revealed something stunning. The panel had been missing 4 bolts. 4 bolts. Critical fasteners meant to secure the structure had simply never been installed, or were lost during reassembly. That aircraft passed multiple inspection phases. It flew with passengers. And it took a terrifying mid-air blowout to uncover the oversight. Now imagine if a child had been seated next to that panel. The risk wasn't theoretical. It was dangerously real. The FAA acted swiftly in response, grounding MAX 9 aircraft, halting Boeing's production expansion, and demanding internal reforms. But the real question remains: why wasn't it caught sooner? And what happens next time? Leadership turnover and oversight in crisis. The Alaska Airlines incident is just one symptom of a broader trend: the weakening of oversight systems. In recent years, the FAA has experienced a noticeable churn in leadership. high-level positions in safety oversight, air traffic training, and technical compliance have seen resignations, retirements, and abrupt reassignments. Key committees responsible for monitoring near misses and training air traffic controllers have gone understaffed or unfunded for long stretches. The FAA, once considered the gold standard of global aviation safety, is now playing defense more than offense. And that's a problem, because modern air traffic is faster, more complex, and more congested than ever. When agencies like the FAA fall behind, the entire system suffers, not just in safety, but in efficiency, cost, and confidence. A deadly mid-air collision in DC, how bureaucracy failed. If you think these issues only result in small delays or temporary groundings, consider what happened in Washington, D.C. A commercial jet and an Army helicopter collided mid-air, killing 67 people. The investigation uncovered a grim combination of failures: malfunctioning altimeters, miscommunications between aircraft and controllers, and dangerously overloaded air traffic control staff. But here's the kicker: solutions had been proposed before the crash. One idea involved rerouting helicopters away from congested corridors to reduce risk, but it was dismissed as too political. Too political? When lives are at stake? That single phrase has haunted many within the aviation community, because it speaks to a deeper issue: public safety being compromised by bureaucratic paralysis, internal politics, and a reluctance to act decisively before disaster strikes. The rising threat of turbulence, a new safety frontier. Another growing concern: turbulence. Climate experts and aviation analysts are warning that climate change may be contributing to stronger, more unpredictable turbulence along major flight paths, especially at cruising altitudes over oceans and mountain ranges. While turbulence rarely leads to crashes, it can cause serious injuries to passengers and crew, particularly if seatbelts aren't fastened or carts are in motion. In just the past year, dozens of severe turbulence events have made headlines. Elderly passengers have been hospitalized, flight attendants have suffered fractures, and travelers with health conditions have faced extreme stress mid-flight. Managing these incidents depends heavily on experienced pilots, well-trained cabin crews, and clear communication from the cockpit to the tower. But if those support systems are under strain, the margin for error shrinks. The bigger picture: safety is a choice, not a guarantee. Flying today is safer than ever, but that safety isn't automatic. It doesn't just happen. It's earned through training, through oversight, and through thousands of dedicated professionals doing invisible work every single day. When policy shifts, staff are cut, or bureaucratic politics get in the way of common sense, it threatens the very foundation of that safety net. If you're traveling with children, elderly parents, or dealing with health issues, these risks matter even more. You deserve confidence in the system, not guesswork. And that means staying aware, asking questions, and demanding better accountability from the people in charge. Let's keep the skies safe for everyone. So yes, flying is still one of the safest ways to travel, but it's facing pressure like never before, from inside the system and out. Have you flown recently? Did anything feel off? Delays, strange maintenance issues, cancellations with no explanations? Share your experience in the comments. Let's compare notes and keep each other informed. Because when you book a ticket, you're not just buying a seat, you're buying trust. And that trust should be earned, protected, and respected every time wheels leave the ground. Stay informed, stay sharp, and let's keep pushing for an aviation system that works for everyone, those in the air and those paying for a seat.